Hello everyone, and welcome. In that last camping video that we just did, Anne lit her first ferro rod fire, but she did it using charred cloth. She wants to keep practicing with it. She wants to try the flint and steel again. So I made her a little fire kit this week. I made her a small tin so she could make her own charred cloth. And we all know with my line of work, I go through a lot of jeans. I've mentioned it before in other videos. So I've got denim more than I can ever use. So let us get set up. And I'll show you her tin. And then I'm going to do something with my tin. And we'll see how it all goes. So here's my old tin. You've all seen it. It's empty right now. Here's the tin I made for Anne. I put a small hole in the top of it to let the gases escape. May not really need it because it should escape from the hinges just fine. But I filled hers with chunks of denim. And we're going to char that today. But for mine, as we were coming up here, I picked up a bunch of punkwood. We found a rotting log, and this wood is just a bit spongy. Little punky, but it makes great charred material. So if ever you're out here and you're stranded and you like to use charred cloth, but you're running out and you don't know how much longer you're going to be out here, if you can come across some punkwood, you char that, you'll have something to start your next fire if you need it. So I'm just going to break these up a little bit and put chunks in my tin. Now, when charring this, you want to fill your tin as much as you can because it is going to shrink. So I am going to try and stuff this thing super tight. Until I can just barely make it close. Put these aside. I can even keep those to use at a later date if I want. Now let's go get these on the fire. You want to keep your tins closed because basically now fire is causing the heat. The cloth and the punkwood is the fuel, but we're not letting them get any oxygen. So that's going to take out any chemicals, any moisture, whatever's in there, and it's just going to char it nice and black. Oh, yeah, run that way, little froggy. You don't want to run into the fire pit. So we'll just toss that there and that one there. That fire is going to burn down. And now those are going to char. See if I can move it out of the fire just a little bit so it's still in the coals. And then you'll get a better view of what's going on. Now, do you see that little bit of smoke coming out of the tins? That's the gases escaping. Your tiny little flame there, which is fine, because that's just the gases igniting and burning off as they're coming out. That's perfectly normal. But what you want to do is let it sit there until there's no more smoke, no more flames. At that point, it should be all charred. I don't see any more smoke coming out of them. Woo, but they are hot. Now, you do not want to open them right away, because now you've got the heat and you've got the fuel. You open that lid, you just introduced air, it could burst into flame. And there goes all your work done. So I'm going to set these aside and let them cool. And then when I open them up, if I notice they're not quite charred enough, I can always put them back on the fire. There's no harm in re-charring your char. You're not going to hurt it. So I'll put these off to the side and let them cool. And I'll add a few more sticks to this just to keep it burning in case I need it. Once they're done, we will show you the difference between charred cloth and charred punkwood and how to use them. So, it's a beautiful area, but it's a little tricky to get at the water because it's a little too far back. On a tree over here, I found a chunk of rope that had been tied there and left behind. So I pulled it off the tree, tied it to my bucket, and now we have water to put the fire out. So Anne has her charred cloth, and as you can see, it's all beautifully charred. And I've got the charred punkwood, which again is beautifully charred, but like I said, it would shrink. So it doesn't make as much as you think it would. But now I'm going to get the flint and steel, and Anne's going to take a piece of the charred cloth and light up a bird's nest that I made up, and then I'll show you how to use the charred punkwood. Okay, so Anne has a piece of charred cloth on the stone. There we go. Placing it in the bundle. Now that's just some dried grasses that I found on the trail walking up here, and some really dry fern that I put in the middle. So now the difference between the punkwood and the cloth, you take a small piece of cloth and you put it on the stone and you hit downwards to pop your sparks on top of the cloth to ignite it. The punkwood, you can't hold a piece of punkwood on the stone. So what you have to do is open the tin, hold your steel above it, and hit your stone down. And shower sparks over your punkwood. So now that that piece is lit, now when you're throwing your sparks in the tin, you're going to catch a lot of times more than one piece at a time. All you have to do, close the lid, it'll suffocate it, and you have charred punkwood for the next time. Anne's preferred method of using the charred cloth is with the ferro rod. She finds it a little easier. And if it's going to help her build the confidence she needs to do more fires like this, hey, do whatever you need to do. Well, that didn't take long. So that's going to be it for today. About all we have time for, because we don't have time for camping this weekend. We got too much going on. So if you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one.